The item that changed League of Legends forever. League of Legends as a game is just constantly evolving. There's always changes, different champion reworks, the map changing, and practically at this point, almost every single item has been changed in the game. There have been a lot of items that have been removed in League of Legends history. One example would be the Banner of Command. If you guys remember, it used to buff up one of your siege minions and you used to be able to siege towers like nothing, especially when you got the Baron buff. But today, I'm not even going to be talking about that item. I'm going to be talking about an item that single-handedly changed the role forever. It seems like a lot of people have forgot about this item, but especially if you were one of the people that used to abuse this item back in the day, you will never forget this item. And to figure out what that item is, I'm gonna have to go back to my humble beginnings. And before I even begin with this video, make sure you guys drop a like on this video so it gets recommended to other people, and then also subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I am a small channel and I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. If you guys checked my op.gg today, you guys can clearly see that I am a Masters high diamond player for countless years in a row, but I haven't always been like that. Back in the day, around season 1, 2, and 3, I was fighting for my fucking life in low elo, also known as elo hell back in the day. And this was before iron was even a rank, so I was bronze 5 at one point. The lowest rank in the game possible. And I didn't even have a mid role yet. Realistically, I was just playing top, mid, sometimes jungle, sometimes ADC. I would say support, but especially back in the day, support is nothing like support now. Now these days, you guys have fun support champions like Rakan, Bard, and Thresh. Back in the day, those champions didn't even exist. On top of that, supports now these days have insane amount of damage as well as gold generation. Back in the day, supports were pretty much just ward bots. So that left me with only 4 different lanes that I could choose to main. Another role that I knew I wasn't gonna main was ADC, and the main reason why is because I don't like relying on other people, and especially having an extra person in your lane that you have to watch over is really not my style. So it left me with 3 lanes left: top, mid, and jungle. And those were the lanes that I mainly mained during season 3. In the top lane, my mains were Nasus and Old Darius. In the jungle, I would play Xin Zhao and Master Yi. And then in the mid lane, I used to play Old Akali and Old Talon. And this was back when Talon had a silence on his E. He used to be so broken. However, everything changed in season 4. With the patch 4.5, the item that we're going to be talking about today was introduced, and that item was Feral Flare. Now, for the people who played back in the day, especially my junglers, you know what this item is. I don't even have to explain it. Feral Flare was arguably the most broken item in the game, not just in the jungle, in the game. And for Feral Flare, it wasn't an item that you could purchase in the store. It was an evolve of another item called Riddler's Lantern, and that item has been in the game for like forever. To evolve your Riddler's Lantern into a Feral Flare, you had to get stacks, and as soon as you reach 25 stacks, you would officially get your Feral Flare. And you could get your stacks through a multitude of different ways. You would get 1 stack for every kill, assist, Baron, or Dragon, and then most importantly, any camp that you kill. And as soon as you reach those 25 stacks, you unlock your full potential. And let me tell you how broken this item is now. So this item will give you 15 attack damage, 35 attack speed. It would also give you on hit damage based on how many Feral stacks you get. So especially because there wasn't any cap to how many Feral stacks you can get, you basically became an infinitely scaling champion, similar to a Nasus Q or a Vigar Q, but instead it's in a jungle item. So everyone can have access to infinite scaling. On top of that, that bonus on hit damage is tripled against monsters. This made taking down epic monsters like Baron and Dragon very easy. On top of that, since it built out of Riddler's Lantern, it would still give you that ward effect, so you'd be able to ward every 180 seconds. And on top of all of that, it still kept the passive on the lantern where it gave you 30% extra gold for every camp you killed. Imagine if you had that in the game now. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this item only costed 1,800 gold. For only 1,800 gold, you get AD, attack speed, a ward, infinitely scaling on hit damage that triples against monsters. And then on top of that, I forgot even to mention, it gave you flat healing and gold generation because you get 30% for every camp you killed. This item was truly a jungler's wet dream. And now you might be wondering, how the fuck did this item change the game? Let me explain. Back in the older days of League of Legends, the only real carry roles were mid and ADC. Top was usually a tank or a bruiser. Support is mostly a ward bot that's supposed to help your team in any way they can. They didn't even roam that much back in the day.
What the fuck? Support is so easy, dude!
And for junglers, they were pretty much the same. They were essentially just a support for the team. They weren't supposed to be the main carry. They were supposed to help your team out by getting objectives and ganking. So if you saw a lot of the junglers back in the day, champions like Old Nunu, Jarvan the Fourth, Lee Sin, those were all champions that did a decent amount of damage. However, their playstyle was just to help the team, gank for the team, get your team ahead. Your job as a jungler wasn't to carry. However, everything changed when Pharaoh Flare came out. And to be honest, I didn't hop on Pharaoh Flare right away. To be honest, I didn't even know the new item got introduced because I wasn't even reading the patch notes like that. The only way I figured out how broken Pharaoh Flare truly was by watching a fellow YouTuber, and most of you guys probably know who I'm going to be talking about, and that's Trick motherfucking 2G.
Yo, what the fuck? Whoa, what the fuck?
Back in the day, Trick 2G used to have a series called My Way, where he would teach other people how to play jungle his way. And the one video that caught my eye was the patch 4.5 Jungle Udyr My Way. At that moment, I knew exactly what champion I wanted to play, and that was Udyr, baby. This is where I became an actual Udyr main, because of this single item. The only reason I'm a jungler is because of this item. And watching Trick 2G just smack on a bunch of fools and run away and they can't even catch up to him, something about that gameplay just screamed to me. I just wanted to disrespect people. I just wanted to run in and kill everybody. And the one champion I could do that on was Udyr. There were other champions you could abuse Pharaoh Flare on, including Master Yi, which was actually my most played champion in Season 4. Other champions like Shyvana did really well with Pharaoh Flare, and as well as Nocturne. And with Pharaoh Flare, I was able to carry myself out of bronze and silver, not to gold, but to platinum. And back in the day, platinum was like the top 10%, top 8% of people, and that was all thanks to Pharaoh Flare. However, on patch 4.20 420, Riot realized the mistake that they made and removed Pharaoh Flare from the game for good. And to be honest, I understand why they did it, mainly for two reasons. Number one, the item was simply just a broken ass item. Why the fuck would you give every champion the possibility to infinitely scale? And the second and most likely reason why they removed it was because of junglers themselves. They would just stay in the jungle farming their Pharaoh Flare. They wouldn't help their laners, they wouldn't gank, they would literally just stay in the fucking jungle and farm their Pharaoh Flare. And to be honest, it worked. It was a viable strategy to do. So realistically, Riot understood it wasn't healthy for the game and removed Pharaoh Flare. However, Riot didn't completely remove Pharaoh Flare. They just reworked that item to another item you guys might know, and that was the Jungle Enchantment Devourer. And for Devourer, it had the same stacking mechanic as the old Pharaoh Flare. However, there were a couple different changes to it. You would get more stacks based on if you killed any dragons or barons. You would get a total of 5 stacks, and then once you reach 30 stacks, you turn your Devourer into a sated Devourer. And once you completed your sated Devourer, what happened is that it pretty much acted like a Rage Blade, where every other auto attack, it would double your on hit effects. And don't get me wrong, sated Devourer was a very good item, but it doesn't even come close to Pharaoh Flare. Number one, sated Devourer had a cap, so as soon as you reach sated Devourer, you couldn't get any more stacks afterwards. So that means no infinite scaling at all. On top of that, you don't get any base healing, and you don't get any gold generation, and you don't even get a ward. Can I get a rest in peace in the chat for Pharaoh Flare? The item may be gone, but certainly won't be forgotten. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you want more content like this, make sure you're subscribed, drop a like, just so I know that you made it all the way here and we can confuse a couple people. I have more videos down the pipeline, so if you want to see more videos, click on these videos on the screen now.